YouTube. It's the 18th of May and today we're going to PopCult in Helsinki, Suvilahti. PopCult is a Western pop culture media convention and I have actually been there before. I think I've probably maybe made a few videos on it as well. Previously they've had lectures on things like Winx Club, Witch, Steven Universe, Doctor Who, Sherlock. This year they're having a Barbie movie lecture about the animated Barbie movies rather than the live action one that came out recently. And so I'm doing a very sort of casual Barbie cosplay as well. So the convention was held in one sort of area, but in 3 or 4 different buildings. There was one for the cafe, one for the artist alley and marketplace, one for the lecture halls, and one for I think concerts, and it was also the place where you would get your tickets. Now the artist alley and cafe were free, but for the lectures you needed to buy a ticket to the event, which I did, and it was 20 euros. So first off, to start the day, I actually went and got my ticket from this area that you can see here. Because the Barbie lecture only started at 1, I had plenty of time. I got to the event around 11 and I went to check out the artist alley. This convention had the artist alley and the sales area all in one place. I would say that there was more artists than there were general sales places, but there was one place that was selling clothing, so I do think that at least was a store. It was a relatively small area and I was actually surprised that there weren't more people and it wasn't more packed, because it was free, that area was free. But the quality of the artists was good and I met up with some of my friends and talked to them, and then I decided to go to the maid cafe area. It was really nice. The filled croissant I had was actually really good and I played some cute donut themed games with the butler I had. It was really cute and themed, but it also wasn't too embarrassing and weird like maid cafes sometimes can be. So I had a good time. And it was time for the Barbie movie lecture at 1. And it was about the presentation of male characters in Barbie animated movies. It was a really good lecture. The lecturer divided the Barbie movies into 3 different eras, and it compared the evolution and the changes in male characters in Barbie animated movies to Disney animated movies, and even to Winx Club, and I love a good Winx Club reference. So overall, I was super happy with that lecture. Now, I met up with my friend and we went to see this lecture ominously titled You Either Die a Hero or. And this was a lecture about the relationship between author and their text and author and their fans, using the example of J.K. Rowling, Suzanne Collins and Neil Gaiman. It was a good lecture and the discussions we had definitely added to it. But we ended up speaking mostly about J.K. Rowling because she is the most controversial out of the 3. And I mean, Suzanne Collins was sort of given as an example of an author whose texts have a really large following and have a political message as well, but who isn't really active on social media and doesn't really say much about how people interpret her texts and how people engage with her texts. And you know, Neil Gaiman is pretty much universally loved in the sort of community that I'm active in, so we ended up talking about J.K. Rowling a lot because she is controversial, but honestly I am on Tumblr, I am online a lot, so I was pretty familiar with most of the points of discussion that were discussed, and I felt like there was little new thought added to what had already previously been discussed, but it was still a pretty interesting lecture and I'm glad that I went. After the lecture there was more time to hang, and in the lecture hall area there was also this area where there were convention tables for other conventions, and also the table for the Finnish Mermaid Hobby Society. Now they actually also had a lecture, but it was the same time as the Barbie lecture, so I missed it, but I got to take a photo with these beautiful mermaids, and they also had their table where you could make your own little mermaid bottle necklace, and this was for free, and I absolutely loved this. I thought this was so cool. I made my own little bottle that you can see here with a little mermaid charm. I played with it the entire way home on the ship and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I think it's so cute. I think it's so fun that I got to choose all the little details. They also had these unnatural scent colors, but I wanted to go with a more natural color. So yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed with this and I love it. In the evening, there were even more interesting lectures. I listened to the beginning of this Twilight team lecture about the lecturer's love and hate relationship with Twilight, but I left halfway through because I really wanted to listen to this lecture about bullying in the Big Bang Theory series. And this was a really well done and interesting lecture as well. I really liked the examples they brought from the series. I just maybe wish that they had given a bit more of visual examples from these parts of the series as well. So that was the end of PopCult. I was really shocked by how few people there actually were, and considering the weather was so nice and that there were so many free areas, I was surprised that there weren't more people. I really like PopCult because I think it has a unique program. It tackles pop culture at a sort of interesting angle, the Western media angle, that I feel like none of the other conventions in Finland and even nearby really do. There are more anime conventions, Japanese and Asian conventions, and then gaming conventions, but I think PopCult is really unique in its program and in its emphasis on Western media. So I hope that it survives, I hope that it continues to grow, because I have been there before and I feel like in the previous years there were more people. So I hope that this convention continues to exist, and I definitely recommend you check it out if you're in Finland. I also should mention that they also had a PopCult Nights event on the same evening, which was basically like a DJ'd event, sort of a party event, which I didn't go to because I went back to Estonia, but it is important to mention that it was also there. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I do loads of convention overviews and I do quite a lot of videos on different conventions in my area, in Estonia and Finland and sometimes Latvia. So make sure to check me out in the future and leave a comment if you were at the event, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!